Greetings, everyone. I feel that I'd like to welcome us into a mystery. The mystery is evolution itself. It's a totally awesome, unbelievable new story that from nothing at all, for billions and billions of years, nature, spirit, source has been creating ever more complex whole systems until she got to us. So everyone is carrying the impulse of the entire story of creation internalized as you. But obviously the impulse is going somewhere because it is evolution itself incarnate as us. And since we are announcing to the impulse that we are members of a new species, I have an intuition that the impulse is saying, good. I'm glad they noticed. I'm glad that somebody realized that we've been at work for all these billions of years to do what? To at least create species capable of co-creating with us being the impulse of creation. In other words, to create a species capable of co-creation. If I were the impulse, that's what I would have been trying to do. So I was just feeling that the mystery of coming together as Homo, Amore, Universalis at the threshold of the new. And the new really is new. That's the thing about it. We might think we know what the new is, but if it's new, we don't. So the mystery here, if this is the very first gathering in our particular domain of the emergent humanity, at a very time of critical breakdown or breakthrough, which means we're on a point and you cannot stay on a point. Isn't that a good point? Yeah, you can't stay on a point. So that's why in this period, it's either going this way or that way. And we're at the point of that. And what that will unfold to be as we are shifting from one stage of evolution to the next, from Homo sapiens sapiens to Homo universalis, Homo amore universalis. Let's live in the mystery. And to start with it, I am going to introduce Steve Farrell, one of the great sources of this mystery. Why? He had the intuition to do this. So the impulse must have been really strong in you. And of course, he's the director of Humanities Team. He has said to me, Barbara, I don't think we're just teaching courses anymore. I think we are guiding a movement toward the new humanity. So we're here as members of the new species, guiding a movement through our own inner impulse of creativity toward the radically new. And with that, I want to introduce Steve Farrell, who has been my holy host, my Holy Ghost. And introduce you, and thank you, Steve, so much, and just share your vision with us.
Okay, Barbara, thank you. Let's give Barbara a round of applause. Woo, a whole year with Barbara. And wow, you know, remember back a year ago when we started Awaken New Species? And just as it was starting, we shared, when this is over, let's gather and do a celebration, right, as new species. And here we are. We're just, the program is opening up in this moment. And what a moment, huh? I had a chance to talk to some of you just walking around to just say, so, you know, what does new species feel like for you? Because we're all changed, aren't we? I bet there's nobody in this room that feels that you haven't changed in a significant way in the last 12 months, right? This whole, you know, it's hard to put words around this. It's one of the things I'm here to do over the next 4 days is just to hear people's stories and to understand, how are you changed? You know, what is life like for you? And what are you pointed at? And what's fun and what's serious? So I've talked to some of you, and I'll be talking to a lot more of you. But what a truly special program this has been, Awaken New Species, in this last 12 months. And I really want to deeply thank you, Barbara, because Barbara is amazing. I mean, she is an icon, really. She is an icon in this time in which we live. She is the mother of conscious evolution. She is the one leading the parade here when we talk about conscious evolution. And it's a very crucial role. And she does it so well, so humbly, and with brilliance, which is how spirit always works, right? There's this incredible brilliance, but they're so childlike humble. It's that unique thing. Those two things come together, and you know it's a spirit-inspired thing when you see it. So I'm going to be very brief here, and I'll actually to vision and stuff, because we're going to hear from another great speaker here in a moment, David, who runs the whole, not only Sunrise, but the emissaries all over the world. And I don't want to speak too long because we're already in his time. But I'm going to be back Saturday and Sunday. And I'm going to have a chance to share with Barbara, Stephen Donaco, who's not here. It's snowing back in Illinois and Ohio. So he's in the snowstorm flying here now. But we're going to have a chance to share with you deeply on Saturday afternoon and on Sunday morning. We're going to talk about vision and a lot of really important stuff. So I'll get to come back then. But let me just say, just to address, I mean, this is primarily about celebration, right? And Sherwood, by the way, is the director and producer of this celebration. We had to give her a round of applause too. So I'd clap. It's hard to. And she's done a great job pulling this all together. It's a big job to make something like this work real well. But beyond the celebration, we are on a serious journey, right? We talk about this in Humanities Team, Barbara with the Foundation for Conscious Evolution. All of us, we're all conscious people. We're all conscious leaders in this room. And we're on a very serious journey. There is this big, massive decision point, right? That's here in front of us now. This decision of, is it going to be devolution, spiral down, or is it going to be evolution, spiral up? And Barbara says it so beautifully, our crisis is a birth. It is the perfect way to describe this, because we are in crisis, right? And unless we're New Age and just putting our head in the sand, we can see it. We are in crisis as a species, but our crisis is a birth. It's a birth of something really beautiful, and that's what we're feeling in this room. And there's so much that we can do with that personally, but also collectively, you know, as to where we take it out in the world. And so we're going to be talking about it on all levels here during the 4 days. The personal of what we feel, of what you can feel into right in this moment in the room, right? This really beautiful high vibration that's very light, very pure. But we're also going to be talking about it at the level of community and at a global level. So we're going to talk about some real serious stuff here too. Okay, and with that, let me give the microphone to our friend here. I think isn't David is up next, I think. Sherwood, is that right? Yeah. So David, come on up. This is a brilliant, great man, and my privilege to be with you here, brother.
Good to be with you. So, what is happening here? What is happening here? So we have people who've come from all kinds of different places to be together for this time. You have those of us here at Sunrise who live here, who are holding this home and who have come together to do something magnificent. And something's happening. So what's happening? What's happening? Well, we heard from Barbara a description of what's happening in our field and what's happening for us. I want to suggest that we are the heart of this planet aroused. We are this planet that has become conscious of itself, and its heart is aroused, and that we're on this magnificent journey and this magnificent experiment of consciousness as human beings. This great experiment to become a conscious awareness of what's happening in this field, in the planet, and indeed in realms beyond. And so we're moving in a process that is taking us from a sense of ourselves that it's just little old me here with my everyday experiences that are making me who I am, to an awareness that the things that we're not feeling only for ourselves, but we're feeling on behalf of people in many, many places. Do you have that experience for yourself? When something happens to a friend in your own town or someplace near you, in your family, you feel for them. And we feel for the people in California and the people in Yemen. We feel for this planet and all that it's going through and what all the peoples of this planet are feeling. We're feeling those things ourselves, but not just for ourselves. We're feeling it for all of creation. And for this body of humanity that's in this magnificent process. But I want to say we're feeling something else too, which is we're feeling the very urge of evolution, the very urge of creation that wants something. It wants to fulfill itself through consciousness and through form, the form of this planet. So we look around at what's happening on the planet and we can feel for what's going on, and yet feel the assurance that somehow Mother Nature, evolution itself, knows what she's doing, and she's okay and will be okay. The question is, will we awaken to who we are in this whole process? Will we realize that we are the consciousness and the heart of this planet, but we are also the very urge of creation that's within it and within us? That we desire something. We desire to become something glorious. And what we're feeling on behalf of that creative urge. In fact, we are that creative urge. We get up in the morning and that's what's moving through us. I love the name we're using, Homo Universalis. And there's the human part of us, the very human part of us. But there's something else happening in consciousness. I love the amore part. There's a carrier wave to creation, to evolution. It's the heartbeat of love within the planet and within us. And on that heartbeat, there's wisdom. There's information that comes. There's universal wisdom. But the heartbeat has to be there. I think we're finding that. And I think that's part of the urge and the awareness that we're bringing to the world, is that we have to be heart connected within ourselves to that urge and that power and that love. And I would bet that to a person, everyone in this room knows how things stop making sense in our own life and in our world when we get disconnected at that heart level. Nothing seems to make sense. Nothing comes together. So that carrier wave of love is so important. Amore, that very urge of love to express itself. The feeling of love, the heartbeat of love, the vibration of love. And then that is bringing with it something else. I know we're together as a room full of visionaries. Somehow the creative urge is planting images in our mind and visions of our future and awareness of who we are. and an awareness of what's happening, an awareness of possibility, and the seeds of a future that we haven't experienced yet, but yet which is dropping in. There's information, there's intelligence that's carried on the carrier wave of love. And obviously, there's a huge explosion of intelligence in the world today. And we need that, the high-tech technology and information of all kinds. But yet, without the carrier wave of love, it doesn't seem to all come together. And we can rather doubt that all our brilliance is going to lead to what it needs to where it really wants to go without the carrier wave of love. So we're here to bring that too, I believe, each one of us. And then all of us together. And Steve, you mentioned community. Isn't that what community is about? It's sharing the heartbeat of love together. And I know from experience that community stops making sense without that. We're just a bunch of people with some good ideas, without the carrier wave of love, the heartbeat of love that's moving and pounding. I want to speak about something else around our function. So this is conscious evolution. So something's evolving that's not only evolving in the field of form, the form of our body, though we can imagine that changing, and it is changing too. But it's evolving in consciousness in this field that we're sharing, the field of awareness. And here we are at the center of the field of awareness that we're a part of in the world. And we're bringing the seeds of tomorrow into that field of consciousness, sowing those seeds. It's an ancient symbol, the tree of life. The tree of life, and the tree of life drops its acorns into the field for new life. It doesn't just go presto change, oh, there's new life. No, there's seeds of it. So that's biological life. But we're here bringing conscious life. And so we have seeds of tomorrow to bring, seeds of love to bring into the field of consciousness in this world. And then seeds of insight, seeds of intelligence, seeds of vision. And we can look around at the world and see what's going on, and we know that our world needs those seeds. So we're here to bring the seeds of tomorrow, DNA for a new world. All the ideas, all the visions, all the love that's packaged into what we say and do, to our artistry, to the images we bring to the world, in our music, in our words. It's all encoded with the intelligence of tomorrow, with the seeds of tomorrow that our world needs so much. The prophet said that without vision, the people perish. So we're here to bring vision for tomorrow, the seeds of vision, into this field, and the seeds of love into the field. So we are both those who bring those seeds, and we are also the field of consciousness, are we not? We are that field. We each have that field in ourselves that we're a part of, and then we're in the field with all human beings everywhere. But what is the nature of that field for us and then for us together? I think this time, this weekend, is an opportunity to create a field of consciousness and a field of energy into which the seeds of tomorrow can be dropped. And they can sprout, they can germinate, they can grow in this field. So we know something about seeds here at Sunrise. We have a greenhouse, actually 5 greenhouses and gardens. And we know that the conditions in those greenhouses and in the soil has to be optimal. Well, that's for biological life. But now we're talking about consciousness and what's getting born, what's being born through consciousness. Well, the field of consciousness has to be fertile and ripe. And we have the urge of creation and the urge of the Creator within us that comes out into that field and surrounds it. surrounds it and holds it in love, and holds the seeds of tomorrow in love, that they may germinate, they may sprout, and they may grow. And then bring more seed into the world. I'm sure that that's what's happening and will happen here over this weekend. Right? There will be seeds that will be dropped into this field. They will grow in all our awareness. And then that will mean that there's more seed that's brought out into the world, and it will bring something different into the larger field of consciousness in the world in which we are living. So we are those artists, those prophets, the ones who bring those seeds. And then at the same time, we are the ones who know what it means to keep the seeds of new life, of a new world safe, keeping them safe on our own heart and our own mind. And that has to do with our heart connected to each other, and our heart connection to the very power and urge of creation, the urge of love that's within us, and the brilliance that's within us. So, really good to be part of this cycle and to see what new is being born from it, a new world, a new species.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Just one thought that's come up as we've been meeting during the day is somebody said to me, well, I don't think, Barbara, that Homo amore universalis would behave like you just behaved. Oh, Homo amore universalis has a way of being that perhaps is not what we do every minute, because we are between Homo sapiens sapiens and Homo amore universalis. Now, we don't know what it was like to be the first Homo sapiens in Neanderthal world, but it happened. And they probably were mystified by why they were different, because species actually are different. It's not because we make them different. There's something intrinsically different about a new species. So we invited ourselves to come as members of a new species. So that's who showed up. Everybody who's here, it feels they're a member of a new species. Is this true? So let's notice the internal experience during these few days. How do you feel as Homo amore universalis that might be a little bit different than if you were being reactive in Homo sapiens sapiens manner? Because we are the crossover generation. So it's easy to go back into Homo sapiens sapiens feelings, who has created exactly the world we have. So Homo amore's feelings, intentions, as David says, visions, let's help each other get the feel of who we sense we are when we responded to becoming a member of Homo amore universalis. And let's share with each other how it feels. Yes? And to notice, let's say it doesn't feel exactly right at some moment. Just say, oh, that's not exactly the way Homo amore universalis feels. And it's really at the feeling level that you can tell. And the brilliance then is there. But if you have the brilliance without the heart, as David says, it won't be it. So I'm not going to talk anymore, except just to be internally observing this next few days as to what it feels to you that you might be a new species. Nobody's going to tell us from the outside. There's no species beyond us to tell us what it's like. So we are pioneering in being consciously a new species. I think it's the first time ever. I really do, because I don't think Homo sapiens was able to do that among Neanderthal. So I'm going to say we're going the next step, and I want to thank Sherwood, because Sherwood, not only was she produced this, but she conceived of all of this. And she was in there with her desk conceiving of one event after the next, which she then told me about. So I said, Sherwood, you have to come up here. I said, Sherwood, don't leave me during this event. You know why? Because she created it. And
we created it.
I know, but she was absolutely amazing. And so I usually know what to say, but I said, Sherwood, what shall I say now? So you want to say what we do next?
We're going to go and devour some amazing cuisine in the dining room. And just to finish this session, thank you, Barbara. We really did, just to share with you guys the roots of where it all came from. Awaken the New Species was a new world. And all of you traveled to the new world. And now we're going to build it together.
Thank you, Sherwood. Okay, so you want to guide everyone go pieces again? Okay, all right, everybody. We'll see you at dinner. Thank you.
And then come back to this room for 7 p.m. After an hour of deliciousness, we're going to introduce ourselves.